don't forget to like this and follow this if you are a Janis fan. I won't release anything otherwise. So, I hope you enjoy this interview about my 10th cousin, Janis Joplin, that I shot in Echo Park. And the woman, her name is Anne. She works for PETA, and she shares her reminiscences of meeting Janis Joplin twice. Enjoy. Okay. Did you ever meet Janis Joplin or hang out with her back in the day?
I wouldn't say that I hung out with her as a as a San Francisco native. It was not uncommon to run into Janis Joplin. She was a local presence, and she had a very, I think, beautiful quality that while she was this extraordinarily talented, amazing performer, she was extremely approachable. The first time that I ever had an encounter with her, and I only really had two, I'm going to take a wild stab. I could probably do the research, but I think it was 69. And she was performing with Big Brother at Speedway Meadows, which is a very open area in Golden Gate Park on a Sunday afternoon. I believe it was the first time that she debuted Take Another Little Piece of My Heart. So she sang, and the crowd, we all went crazy, and then she jumps off the stage. She physically just jumps off the stage within feet of where I was standing, and these two dogs were fighting, and she pulled them apart. That was extraordinarily impressive to see her end this argument between these two dogs. And then I just said something to her like, that was incredible, and she was just like I was talking to you right now.
Yeah.
And then I worked at a store on Polk Street at Bush called, or it might have been Pine, but in any event, it was on Polk Street called Helio Jupiter. The actual store is still there. It's not Helio Jupiter, but the physical building is there. And Peggy Caserta, who wrote a book called Going Down with Janis.
She had a store in Mnasidika.
Well, she across the street, and it was a men's store. And Peggy would come in and buy from me all the time. She was very generous and very sweet, and I would get good commissions. And she said, I want to show the boys this. And I said, sure, So she goes across the street. She comes back in with this person who initially I didn't even realize that it was Janis Joplin because she was so completely unassuming. And I realized at a certain point who she was, and I said something to her like, that's a nice jacket or something, and she goes, keeps me warm. And then she turns around and goes, that Southern Comfort. And I've never forgotten that. But she joked, she said, because she was helping Peggy with clothes, and she looked at me, she goes, do I get the commission? But she was I think her death was an incredible tragedy here in Los Angeles, and I wish that she'd lived. She was an amazing presence, and she would probably still be singing the blues quite magnificently in 2013, 2014. But she was a very kind of, in contrast with probably one of the biggest blues performance artists, extraordinary personas that the world has ever known. She was amazingly approachable and just very one-on-one.